Hey, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek. Welcome to episode 155 of Friday Night Appointment with Fear. And this week, hot on the heels of Netflix's Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. What's the word? Gracing our screens, which I watched it today. Really good film. I suggest you go and watch it. We're going to break down and review, not that film. We will get to that at some point. We're going to break down and review not the original 1931 Frankenstein. We're going to do The Curse of Frankenstein, the film that essentially launched Hammer Horror, sort of, back in 1957, starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. So that's what we're going to be breaking down and having a look at tonight. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, let's make sure we're live everywhere. We're live on YouTube. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble, except it's not showing us. Let's have a look. Am I there? Yes, I'm there. I'm live on Rumble. And we're live on Twitch. Don't know why I keep doing Twitch. So, and also explore the description for links for stuff like merch. Oh, I ain't got any. I meant to get my cup. I forgot to put my t-shirt on as well. I'll show the cap, although this is technically not merch. But anyway. What else? Merch, my websites and my other channels and all that stuff. My books, which are underneath things. Amazon Kindle and paperback. The links are all there. Have a rummage about in the description for those links. Become a member of the YouTube channel and you get early access videos and exclusive videos and all the stuff that being a member gets you, such as they are. And super chats and super thanks will be hugely appreciated. Right, so all that out of the way, we can get on with the show. The Curse of Frankenstein, Stone, whatever, from 1957. As I said, the film that kind of launched Hammer Horror, although they had dipped their toe into X certificate films a few years earlier with the Quatermass Experiment, which wasn't really horror, more sci-fi, but it did have some horrific themes in it. But this was a full-blooded colour, which were rare at the time, horror movie, directed by Terence Fisher, screenplay by Jimmy Sangster. I think only his second screenplay for Hammer. He'd done X the Unknown, I think the year before, which was supposed to be a Quatermass film, but Nigel Neal wouldn't give them the rights to the name, so they made it about somebody else. Good film, X the Unknown. Really worth a look. Obviously inspired by the novel from Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley from 1819. I can't remember. 1818. Sorry, it says there on Wikipedia. 1818. I always think it's 1816, but it isn't. 1816 was the time of the party, isn't it, that Lord Byron and Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley and Polidori had, where they did a bet, didn't they, back in 1816, who could write the best horror story, and that's when Polidori wrote The Vampire with the Y, and Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, didn't she? Anyway, enough of that history. Who else? Right, what else? As I said, starring Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Hazel Court, Robert Urquhart, who else? Valerie Gaunt, and Paul Hartmuth, and a few other people. No Michael Ripper in this, I don't think. There was a scene with Patrick Troughton, but it got edited out, unfortunately, so that's not in there. Patrick Troughton, Doctor Who, the second Doctor. At the budget of now it varies because it says in the making of, it says the production of The Curse of Frankenstein began with an investment of £65,000, which isn't a lot, is it? But it also says $270,000. Is that what that were worth back in 1957? I don't know, but anyway, not a lot of money it were made for, and it doesn't show. Box office of 8 million, according to, but I think that might be just France. It made a ton of money and spawned the Hammer Horror franchise. Right, so is that it? Can we get on with it now? Obviously, they're not going to just watch the film, because YouTube would just stop the stream, because they do things like that. I'll probably take my channel down or whatever. We're going to go through it in a series of stills, and I'll try and remember stuff. I do have some notes this time. Not many, but I do have some. I don't actually own it on DVD or Blu-ray. I thought it were in my Hammer box set, but it's not. So I've had to watch like documentaries on YouTube and stuff like that. I have got it on Amazon Prime. I've got it on that. So I do own it technically, but anyway, never mind. I just don't have a physical copy, unfortunately. It did come out recently on 4K, didn't it? So, but 4K, I think 4K is a bit over expensive, to be completely honest. So if it comes down in price, I'll get that. But otherwise, I'm not doing. Right. So anyway, right, we'll get on with it, shall we? I'll put myself down the corner, and we shall delve into this flick. So we'll get that there. Ba-dum. And which one do I press? I can't remember. Is it that one? Yeah. Right, off we go. Got some background music. Hope it's not too distracting. It sounds pretty quiet to me, but I don't know in the actual show. What am I doing? Oh, right, full screen in that. Right. I'm pressing the wrong button. Don't know what I'm doing. Right. There it is. There it is. Right, so off we go. Cheers. There we go. Good old Warner Brothers logo. There it is. This isn't the 4K version we're watching, obviously, but we'll begin with a bucket load of text. More than 100 years ago. I think it's supposed to be set in 1860. I'm sure I read somewhere. Is it set on Wikipedia? It just says 19th century. It might be in trivia. Where have I ever put the trivia? Yes, it's supposed to be set in 1860. I don't know why they've picked that. Maybe it's because of, I don't know, maybe the costumes and stuff. Maybe they only had like mid to late 19th century costumes and accoutrements available to them. I don't know. Because I said the book was written in, well, published in 1819 or something, wasn't it? 1818. Anyway, whatever. More than 100 years ago, in a mountain village in Switzerland, lived a man whose strange experiments with the dead have since become legend. The legend is still told with horror the world over. It is the legend of... When it's ready. Oh, I'll just press that. There we go. The Curse of Frankenstein. Got to say Stein, I like Sean Connery. The Curse of Frankenstein. So there we go. And then we get the cast. There we go. Peter Cushing, blah blah blah. Hazel Court, Robert Urquhart, by permission of ABPC. Whatever that is, I don't know. I don't know what ABPC is. So we look it up. Does it say in here? I'll look at Robert Urquhart. ABPC career. See what it says in his career. Well, excuse me, I'm yawning. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I was a bit ill last night. So I was sleeping late. Just kept waking up. Thought I was going to throw up. I don't know what I'm blame. What can I blame? I don't know what I can blame. And I woke up early. Anyway, we're looking up Robert Urquhart, ABPC. What the hell does that mean? Film. We'll look at that one. I don't know. I'm just looking this up. Associated British Picture Corporation. That's what it stands for. Yeah, we found it out, didn't we? Oh, I've just deleted the wrong thing. Oh, never mind. Apparently he hated the film, the Robert Urquhart. Urquhart, however you pronounce it. I pronounce it Urquhart. I don't know if that's right. I've heard people pronounce Urquhart. But I've heard Urquhart. Because I've heard there's a Urquhart Castle in there on Loch Ness, and I've heard it pronounced Urquhart. But apparently he hated the film, and he walked out of the screening, you know, the premiere or whatever. He walked out of it and never made another horror film. Well, didn't you have a suspicion that it was going to be like a horror, you know, pretty gruesome for its time film? You know, when they were watching Peter Cushing chopping up bodies and stuff. But anyway. And Christopher Lee as the creature. And there's the rest of the clue. Melvin Hayes, who he may... Probably his most famous role is as... I can't remember. He were in It Ain't Half Hot Mum. I can't remember the name of his character, but he were in that one too. Great score from James Bernard. Blah blah blah. Makeup from Phil Leakey. Phil Leakey did the monster makeup, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. Anthony Hines. There we go. Directed by Terence Fisher. I always get mixed up with Terence Young. I've said this before, haven't I? You know, the James Bond director. I always get them mixed up. But Terence Fisher will go on to do loads of Hammer films. I think he directed the Dracula ones as well. Right, so we begin with a chap on a horse, with lots of layers. Because obviously that's on the set. That tree's a painting, isn't it? So it's got a painting in the foreground, that painting in the background, and the set there. There's a lot going on in this little shot, isn't there? Anyway, it turns out it's a priest, and he's arriving at a prison. Here he is, arriving at this prison to see a prisoner who has called for him. So here he goes in there, and this fella says he's raving. All the other prisoners are saying, "Look, get us some food, Father," and all that. They're starving us in here. They're just ignoring him. Says he's raving, talking an hint. I don't know why he says he's raving, but anyway, there we go. What about some food? Help us, Father. They're starving us. Right, so here he goes, says he's raving, so in he goes, and we see he's actually laid there, resting. He's not raving at all. But anyway, so he says, I've come to offer you spiritual comfort. He said, no, I've come to tell you my story. And when you hear my story, it'll save me, because they're going to execute him. And I'm not exactly sure what for. We'll get to it. But it doesn't help his case by telling his story, in my opinion. He should have just made something up. But anyway, so here he is. Here's Peter Cushing. Da-da-da. I'm not sure if this is his first Hammer film. I think it might be. In the same year, he did The Abominable Snowman for Hammer. I think that was a Hammer film, which is really, really good. I love The Abominable Snowman because it's written by Nigel Neal, so it plays a bit like a Doctor Who episode or something like that. It's really good as The Abominable Snowman from 1958. This is 57, isn't it? Whatever. Anyway, right. So there we go, saying, you've got to help me, and he puts his hands on his throat and he says, take your hands off me. But he says, okay, I will tell my story. So we're going to have a flashback to where he was going to tell him his story. I better start from the beginning, because that's a very good place to start. Anyway, right, so we begin with Melvin Hayes as the young Victor Frankenstein, and his mother's died. Now that makes him the Baron, who's the head of the house, because his mother's died. His father had passed away 10 years earlier. So he's now the young Baron. This is his aunt and his cousin Elizabeth. Am I getting that right? I can't remember. Where is she? Yes, Elizabeth. The young Elizabeth, who is kind of betrothed to be his bride when they grow up, but they rely on I can't remember the word. I think it says there, allowance. they rely on the allowance from the Frankenstein estate to get by, and he's saying, yes, we will carry on that. So he says, thank you, off we go. You're going to marry him one day. Right, so, and then here's Robert Urquhart as Paul Kremper, who's going to be the Baron's teacher. This is where we learn that his dad's died, and it was, he says, I've come to see the Baron. The Baron has employed me to be the teacher. He says, I'm the Baron. I put the ad in the paper, or whatever he did. So, right, so he's going to teach him. Right. Apparently, even though he didn't act with Peter Cushing was on set to help young Melvin Hayes to get his mannerisms, to get the Peter Cushing mannerisms down, how to walk, how to stand, and all that stuff. They were very hands-on. And when Grace is here, okay, I'm here, you can start now. Oh, so we'll go back, I will rewind the film. Where were we? So we're back at the beginning now. Ish. Yes, so he was there to help out, was Peter Cushing, with young Melvin Hayes, who were paid £75. I can't remember for how long. There's on YouTube. There's a Q&A. You know, so I said that the movie's been released on 4K. They did like a Q&A, and you can watch it on YouTube. And Melvin Hayes is there, says, I'm only here because I'm the only member of the cast that's not dead. Very funny. And he says he was paid £75. He still had the contract for I don't know how long, maybe a week or 3 weeks. Can't remember. Have I got it in my notes? Let's have a look. Does it say? Tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum. No, it's not in my notes. Because I'm an idiot. Never mind. No, I haven't got it in my notes because I'm stupid. But he got 75 quid, which I don't know what that would be in today's money. Shall we see? What would 75 quid be today? 75 pounds. Let's do this right. 1957 in 2025. Whatever. Give over. Right. 75 pounds. Calculate. Oh, crikey. So, £2,311. So, it's not bad, is it, for, what did I say, a week, 3 week, whatever. We'll call it a month. Not bad for a month's pay. Anyway, so there we go. That's what he got paid. Don't know what the others got paid. Anywho. So, here we go. So, we're learning that he's going to teach him, and apparently he's going to teach him all about chopping up bodies and sewing them together or whatever. But they're going to become firm friends. There we go. Luke's teaching him all about ABs and HBs and chemistry and stuff. Don't ask me all this stuff. I don't know. I bet that's just made up. But anyway. Pardon me. So then suddenly, time jump. And the young Baron Melvin Hayes has transformed into young Peter Cushing, who were actually about 44 at the time when this film came out. But he's always looked old, hasn't he, Peter Cushing? But here he is. This is obviously a little model of the lab that they're going to build later on. Don't know how they've built a scale model, but they have. I think this is Doc Brown. But and then because they wanted to breathe life into dead things for some reason, they don't really explain why. They just get on with it. So as we can see, there's a dog in that whatchamacallit, tank. That's what I'm thinking of. Tank. Dog in that tank, and it's supposed to be quite dead. Shades of Reanimator. You could say Reanimator has shades of this. But anyway. So here we go. They kind of do away with they don't do away with the electricity part, the lightning and stuff. That does happen, but they've kind of eschewed all the electricity things from the Universal 1931 James Whale Frankenstein. Done away with all the bzz, bzz stuff in favour of bubbling chemicals. See, we're doing chemistry, weren't we, earlier? Haha. Bubbling chemicals, but obviously electricity does play a part. Anyway, apparently they got permission from Universal to do this. I don't know, did they need permission? But Universal did warn them, you're not allowed to do the square head bolts in the neck makeup. You're not allowed to do that because that's ours. So they're to do their own. Obviously that wasn't what it was like in the book anyway, was it? He was quite handsome, wasn't he? They called him Adam, I think, didn't they, in the book? Not that I've read it. But anyway, right, so they're going to bring this puppy back to life. Here we go. Bzz, bubble, bubble. And Justin's here as well. Happy Friday. Yeah. So here we go. Bzz, 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 stuff's happening. Bubbly, bubbly. There we go. Taking the water out. And he's going to test it, and the dog comes to life. It's like a magic trick, isn't it? Taking the sides off and stuff. And the dog comes back to life. Because it's alive! There we go. Is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Let's have a listen. When he's ready. Skip it, I followed a bit. Speak. There we go.
Oh, it's alive.
It's alive. Not quite Colin Clive, is it? It's alive. Not quite that, but never mind. Not a happy Friday. Yes, it is a happy Friday. As happy as a Friday can be, I suppose. But anyway. Right, so it's a happy Friday for that little puppy because it's now alive. I'm not sure what happens to it. Do we see it again? Does it grow up? I don't know. I'm trying to think now. Do we see this dog again? I don't know. But anyway, there it is. All lovely and cute. Look. Look, bless it. We've done it. We've breathed life into a dead dog. Did they kill it to start with? I don't know. Or did they just find a dead dog? Did they buy it dead? I don't know. But it's now not dead anymore. Oh, and there it is again. There we go. So the dog's super duper. So now what he wants to do is fed up. He don't want to say, what's our next step? He says, I don't want to just breathe life into dead things. I want to create something and make it alive. He's a bit vague on it. He's not saying I want to sew lots of body parts together. That's just basically just bringing dead things back to life rather than creating life. But whatever, we'll go with it. And so that's what he wants to do. No longer sufficient to bring the dead back to life. We must build and create life. By the way, Peter Cushing in his first Hammer film is very definitely the bad guy in this. He's quite despicable, not a nice fella. He is the real monster of the film, to be honest. Anyway, but Paul's not happy about it, but he's going to help him anyway. So right, so the fact that he wants to create life, but first up he's going to take this dead body. A chap has been hanged, and he's hanging from the gibbet or whatever. It looks very much like Christopher Lee, so I think it is. But he's going to take him. Here we go. So they cut him down, but they don't want his head for some reason. Here we go. So he's going to chop his head off. The eyes, what's happened to it? I think the crows have been at his eyes. So they're going to chop his head off, but they're not going to show it. By the way, this coat, we see him wearing this coat. This is his work coat. He has his work coat and cravat and stuff because it's the 19th century. But you can tell it's because it's got blood stains on it. Anyway, so here he is. There he goes. Just chop the head off. Now he's going to get rid of it. So I'm guessing the head wasn't in good nick. So luckily in the next room he's got a big bath of acid. Chekhov's acid bath. And he's going to melt the head in there. And they did actually film it. But the British Board of Film Classification went, no, we're not allowing that. We know it's going to be an X certificate and all that. You're going for that, but that's going too far. We can't show you having a melting head, because they did actually do the melting head effect. It was made of wax and stuff like that, and it would just dipped it in boiling water essentially, and it just melted the skin and all that. And I think it's lost forever. Is that footage? They made them cut it out, and it's lost forever. They must have destroyed it as well. I don't know. Maybe there's some left somewhere. I don't know. But I don't think anybody's seen it. But if you watch, remember the film I mentioned earlier on, X the Unknown. There is actually a scene in that where you can see somebody's head melting. Because I remember I watched it recently for me A to Z for Halloween. X was X the Unknown, I think. But I did watch that film anyway, and it is quite gruesome, albeit in black and white. So that got through the censor, didn't it? But this didn't, maybe because it was in colour, I don't know. But we don't see it, we just see the aftermath. We hear the tss, then he comes in and says, right, that's that sorted. I'm saving the bag though, because that'll come in, just give it a wish, fold it up. But anyway, right, so there we go. They've got the body, the headless body, in the big tank, wrapped for some reason. I don't know, for modesty. Oh, and he's saying the hands are no good. He says, no wonder this fellow was a criminal. We need new hands. And he's thinking, "Ooh, I know where I can find some hands. I'll be back tomorrow or whenever. Just hold the fort till I come back." Anyway, so here's Justine, I think is her name. Let me check. Yes, Justine, played by Valerie Gaunt. She's the maid and also the lover of Frankenstein. Anyway. Right, so, yes, while Frankenstein is getting ready to go to Vienna or wherever he's going, grown-up Elizabeth arrives, saying, "I'm here to see the Baron, I am his cousin, and also his fiancée," because they were betrothed. And she mistakes Paul for Victor. He says, "I'm not Victor, I'm Paul Kremper." She says, "Well, I haven't seen you since I was a kid. My mistake." But anyway, so here he is. Says, "Oh, hello, Victor. Hello, Elizabeth. Yes, I got your letter. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'm just going out. I'll be back tomorrow. Make yourself at home." Right. So off he goes. And now he's back. Is this? Hang on. Actually, has he just come back? Oh no. This is the day he comes back. The next day. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I know. And he just happens to come back at the same time as Elizabeth is there. And what he went to, there we go. He's got some hands. There we go. A couple of rubber hands. You can't see the seams from the mould. But apparently these are the hands of a sculptor, and he got the idea because he'd heard this sculptor had died. This genius sculptor had died, so he went over, bribed the person in the cemetery or the mortuary or whatever they bought, and so he's got the hands. So obviously didn't want the head of the sculptor. Sculptors' heads are for naught, apparently. So right, so. But he's having trouble with this, is Paul, and he's worried that Elizabeth's there now. What if she finds out what they're doing? He says, don't give her monkeys. But he don't want anything to do with it now, Paul. And now he's going to tell Elizabeth, you should leave here. This is an evil place, and because of Victor is doing dangerous experiments, and so you should go and never come back. And she says, "What? Why? What sort of experiments? I can't tell you because I am bound by an oath of secrecy." But and then she's saying, "No, we're gonna get married. We're engaged." But anyway, so he said, "No, you should go." But even though he's not helping Paul anymore, or being his tutor, he's still hanging around. And Victor does mention that. He says, "You're not helping me. What are you still doing here?" But anyway, right. So see the dinner's there, but then he's busy snogging Justine. Is Victor? He says, "Why won't you marry me?" "Because you're the maid, for Christ's sake." "But I'm going to marry Elizabeth, and you will be her maid, and see to her every need, just like you do with me, but in a different way. Snog." Right. Anyway, but she seems, happy to carry on. Right, anyway, he's sodding off again somewhere now. I can't remember where. Yes, I do remember where now. He's going off for some more body parts. So he's leaving the household accounts in Elizabeth's hands. So off he goes. There he is with his little doctor's bag. It's just like Jack the Ripper. Anyway, so here he is, arriving. There we go, at the municipal charnel house. Do we still have charnel houses? First time I came across that word charnel house was the Graham Masterton book, Charnel House, and I had to look it up. It's essentially, a crypt or a mortuary or something like that, where dead bodies are stored. That's what it is, isn't it? Anyway, right, so here he goes. He got some eyeballs from an unseen fella for 10, whatever the currency is. It doesn't tell us, it just says 10. We don't see who it is. Is it Patrick Troughton? I don't know, but we don't see him. It doesn't look like Patrick Troughton's hand, does it? Does it tell us? No, I don't like it. Hang on, maybe in the uncredited chaps. Bear with me. No, it doesn't say. Doesn't say. Never mind. Right, so he's got a couple of eyeballs now. I don't know whose eyes they are. I don't think it tells us. But here he's looking through his magnifying glass, which will get parodied in... Which was it? Was it Top Secret? Which I've never seen. Top Secret, you know, the wacky comedy. The Zucker Brothers wacky comedy, isn't it? Was Top Secret the one with Val Kilmer? I've never sat and watched that, but Peter Cushing's in that, and he does that, doesn't he? And then he takes the magnifying glass away, and his eye's still massive. Anyway, so there he's looking at the eyeball. We're getting a look at there we go, the eyeball, which apparently is just a sheep's eye. I will not dwell on it. It's a sheep's eye. It's not a human eye, but it's supposed to be a human eye. In that Q&A that I mentioned earlier, that Melvin Hayes were in, there were some other people there as well, and one of them said he has a doctor friend who rails against this scene. Because that says that doesn't look like a human eye, because it's a sheep's eye. Don't think they could get a human eye, really, do you? Whatever. Anyway, it gets called. There's a knock on the door, and it's Paul. Say, "Come in, Paul." But I told you I would not help you. I said, "Why are you still staying here then?" But I'm worried about Elizabeth and all that stuff. But anyway, showing him. I think he's got a head now, by the way. And then he says it's horrible. Says when the scars heal, he'll look fine. But anyway, so he's saying, I'm still not going to help you, but we need the brain of a genius. But I wonder where we're going to get it. He says, I'll get it somehow. And then we cut to he's hosting a genius, a professor. I forgot his name already. Professor Bernstein, Stone. Who's a doddery old bugger, but apparently a genius. So you know what's going to happen next, don't we? So anyway, they're plying him with drink and everything, and he's spending some time. He has no family, and apparently, nobody to miss him. But anyway, so they're entertaining him and being all nice, and he's all nice and saying, "Oh, it's lovely being here. Thank you for inviting me." And then he says, I shall show you to your room. But meanwhile, this is Paul. He might tell you to bugger off or get out of here. He might tell you your life's in danger. Just ignore him. He's a bit of a pessimist, and he's a bit mental. But anyway, but I'm off to my room now, so I'll show you to your room up these stairs. So, but it says first, I want to show you this painting. I do have this in my notes about this painting. I hope. I'm sure I said it. Where is it? I've seen it somewhere. Here it is. The painting on the staircase shown to Professor Bernstein is Rembrandt van Rijn's 1632 The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nicholas Tulp. Mirroring Victor's own actions, it shows the dissection of a hanged criminal, in this case armed robber Aris Kint. There we go. So, absolutely. Is it the real painting? I doubt it, but there we go. So that's based on the real painting. And it's saying, have a look at this, but step back a little bit, you'll see it better. And then he says, but look out! But it looks a bit dodgy there, doesn't it? He says, look out, Professor, shove, and pushes him to his death. And this stuntman lands head first here. This has got to be like a crash mat or something, hasn't it? Got to be. Because he lands head first, look. You can see, like, it gives. There's a lot of give there, isn't it? So it must be like a crash mat. But it still hurts. But if he's wanting a good genius brain, he's thinking, why did he have to land head first? But anyway, that's the least of his worries. The professor's also, by the way, you've killed his stunt man, his stunt double. But anyway, oh dear, that's a terrible accident. Cut to the funeral. Remember it's Switzerland, by the way. which probably also doubles for, like, Transylvania in the next Hammer film, The Horror of Dracula, aka Dracula. But anyway, so they're burying Dr. Bernstein, because remember, he had no family. We get told that some chaps come up, and there we go, these whoever these are, maybe they're the executors of Bernstein's estate. They said, thank you, Baron Frankenstein, for allowing him to be interred in the Frankenstein family vault. Just says, man didn't look like much. Man didn't look like much given the one over. I bet it hurt. I'm sure it was fine. Yes, thank you for allowing the to be interred in your family tomb. He says, well, it's the least I could do. He was staying with me at the time. As you know, he had no family, and all that stuff. And Gavin Blackburn's here as well. I've just seen Gavin Blackburn over on Anti-Derivative Jill's channel. She's doing Flash Gordon over there. Go and subscribe over there, but don't go and watch it just yet, because I haven't finished here. Anyway, there we go. Oh, it's a colleague. It's a colleague of his. So there we go. So it's obviously, it's just allowing him to be buried there just out of the goodness of his heart. Nothing, untoward going on. Except there is, because he's going to break into the coffin. Has he dragged it up there? He must have done. So he's getting into the coffin. Then we see the professor's in there. He's going to show it. It shows his face. Come on, show us the professor. Hang on. Hello, Professor. Looks a bit like, I can't remember the name of the actor. It looks a bit like Palpatine, doesn't it? That's what I'm not thinking of. I'm thinking of somebody else, but no, we'll go with that. It looks like Ian McDiarmid there, doesn't it? Do it. Somehow the Emperor gets his brain cut out. Gavin says, I watched Frankenstein 2025 last night at Tortuga. Naughty. I watched it today on Netflix. It's really good. I did say at the beginning. We'll do that at some point. Best film of the year for me. Justice says Cushing was an underrated baddie. He could have been Dracula. He'd have been a great Dracula, wouldn't he? But he was a goodie in that one. He was Van Helsing, wasn't he? He could do anything, Peter Cushing, which is why he was my #1 horror movie star. So, because Peter Cushing were amazing, and he should have been Sir Peter Cushing, Lord King Peter Cushing. He should have been. Anyway, back to the film. He's taking out the professor's brain. He's got his jar ready with his grey water in it for some reason. Don't show it because we suddenly cut to. I'm going to show it. We're going to see it. There we go. Suddenly cut to. It's gone very grey, hasn't it? We just see, I bet they thought we can't show an actual brain in clear water, but we'll muddy the water so we can just see bits of it. We get the impression that there's a brain in there, and I presume it's grey because it's grey matter, isn't it? Anyway, the professor's brain is in there. So, and I'm watching it. I'm thinking, don't hold it bit cork, because he just put the cork on, boom, and picked it up by the cork. I thought that's just asking for trouble. Excuse me. Support the jar at the bottom, Peter. Sorry, Baron. Of course, Win Grace has got to get Star Trek references. brain, what is brain? I put him at second place. Vincent is the GOAT. I won't argue. I can't remember what number I put Vincent, but Vincent Price about number 5, I think, for me. Something like that. But it were in there. They're interchangeable, are they? Peter Cushing's my favourite. I love Peter Cushing. I think he's great. And he lived in Whitstable. But anyway, that's by the by. Right, so he's holding that jar, look, by the cork. It's going to fall off. It's like my coffee jar. It's got a lid on it that comes off. And you could pick it up with the lid. I never trust it. I always pick it up with the bottom. Safety first. Anyway, so he's put the jar in this black bag that he got off David Copperfield or somebody, or some other magician. But Paul arrives. Says, I thought to find you here. You got to the brain of the professor. You killed him, didn't you? Oh, well, whatever, I might have done. So they have a fight. Says, I'm not going to let you use his brain. Anyway, obviously the jar gets smashed. He says, love the Dr. Phibes movie. I've seen the first one. I know there's two in. There's the two. I think there's just two in there. I've seen the first one, but a long time ago, and I can't remember much about it. That was Vincent Price, wasn't it? The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Although I do remember when I was a kid and I watched it, the announcer called it the Abominable Dr. Phibes, and I pronounced it like that forever. Even though in the film they say Phibes, don't they? But anyway. So, it's been damaged as the brain. It's got lumps of glass stuck in it. It tells him, get out, get away, you bloody trousers. So he's fed up now, he's Victor. And Paul's run away. Anyway, right, so he's in bed doing things, I don't know. But Paul's sneaking in. Oh, I think he's knocked. He has knocked. Says, oh, you've got to go. Says, been through all this before. Stop telling me I've got to leave. No, but you have to. He's chopping people up and doing stuff. Although he doesn't say that, but you're in real danger, but I can't tell you why, because you've got to find out for yourself later. But anyway, so he's doing terrible things in his lab and all that stuff. But you've got to go. You know, I can't think if any harm comes to you. He says, I can't leave. Anyway, he's checking out the brain. Or is it a strawberry sponge pudding? I don't know. It could be either. He's got it from the canteen. It's his lunch. Oh, it's one of those. Remember they used to do them? Oh, can you still get them now? You used to make them, didn't you? You know them like a bun with a big blob of jam on. They used to get them at school. I can't remember what they called them. Anyway, so he's getting the glass out. He's thinking, oh, but it's repaired because it mustn't know any other geniuses to get their brains. Anywho, Gavin says, poor Victor can't catch a break. He's not doing it. He's not having a good day. Justice says, would be a great appointment with Fear, that and Madhouse. I've seen Madhouse quite recently, actually. And I forgot what happens in it. I did watch it quite recently. It might be me M in me A to Z for Halloween. Anyway, the brain's abnormal now. Yes, although it doesn't have it written on the jar. Anyway, so he's trying to do the experiment by himself because obviously Paul's not helping him. So anyway, so he's getting all ready now. He's doing all the stuff and all the, checking it all. Chemicals bubbling, check. Electrodes, doing the twirly thing, check. Anyway, so off it goes, but nothing happens. It's not working. So anyway, so he starts draining the tank. He's done all what he can, and he goes to see Paul in a minute. After all the bubbly stuff's going on. But as no lightning at the moment, not really much electricity. We do hear it, but we don't see it going bzz, bzz, like in the original. But anyway, he goes to see Paul. Meanwhile, the tank's slowly emptying. But a storm, we hear storm, thunder rumbling and stuff, so there's a storm brewing. And he goes to see Paul, says, Paul, I need your help. Paul says, bugger off, I'm not helping you. I said I wasn't going to help you. He says, but the controls for the reanimation controls, the designed for two to operate, and I can't do it by myself, so you've got to help me. He says, good, I'm delighted, so I'm not going to help you. He says, oh, but you will help me because I'll blackmail you or whatever. Anyway, while all this happens, we do get some lightning. Here we go. There we go. Lightning strikes. Or they didn't have the money to put a lightning effect on. I thought they would have done. But I bet they have. I wonder if in the 4K they've done a CG lightning. I don't know. But we just see the psh, so lightning strikes that, and it sets off all the machines. Look, bzz, and brings the creature to life. So they see him starts breathing. It looks a big fella. Is that Christopher Lee in there? I wonder. I don't know, because it looks a big fella. Christopher Lee's not. He's more willowy, isn't he, Christopher Lee? But this looks like a big chunky chap, doesn't it? I wonder if it's Dave Prowse who would play the creature later. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe it's in the. Sorry, before we carry on. Maybe it says in here. Jock Easton played the burning creature that we'll see later. Any other creatures? Nah, don't know. Maybe it's Christopher Lee in there. I don't know. Doesn't say. Anyways, he's alive now. He's breathing, and so he say, once you've helped me, you can leave. And he said, oh, no, well, I'm not helping you. So, right, okay, well, I'm going back down to my lab. And here's all this crashing and banging. And there we go. Hang on, we need to see this shot, don't we? And he sees the creatures stood up. And then we get this weird shot where they speed it up for some reason. It goes like that to knock me hat off. It goes like that to pull the bandages off his face. And then they speed it up as they're zooming on him for some reason. You ready? Here it comes. By the way, Christopher Lee, I think he was a trained mime, wasn't he? Trained for theatre and stuff like that. And I think he trained to be a mime, which is why he does all this cool movement and stuff. And so here we go. And ready for for somebody to speed it up. And it does look kind of cool. It kind of almost looks like in reverse, but I don't think it is. Here it goes. There we go. And we speed up on him. And then he kind of does a little snarl. And look, his nostrils are flaring and everything. But anyway, when the facial scars heal up, he'll look fine. But anyway, and then he just attacks him. He's throttling Peter Cushing. And apparently Peter Cushing, for this scene, see when he sticks his tongue out, is he going to show it? Don't really show it here. When I watched it earlier on this telly, his tongue actually did look very red, because apparently he ate some like red berry sweets to make his tongue look really red for this scene. But it don't really show it there, does it? Maybe they were lying. But it did look really red on that telly. Anyway, Paul arrives and smashes a chair over the creature's back, or a stool, should I say, knocking the creature out. And he's like, Peter Cushing can do a great, he's great at fight scenes, because he's kind of reminds me a bit of, I forgot his bloody name now. I can never remember his name. He was in Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. He played Dr. Seward in that. Bloody call. Or I should say, he reminds me of Peter Cushing. They have a similar sort of thing, that throw the head about and stuff like that. Anyway, so the creature's there. The thing must be destroyed before it regains consciousness, is what Paul is saying, obviously. He says, no, I'm not. I've got it tied down. It's perfectly safe. And he's saying, it's attacked because the brain was damaged. So it was your fault anyway, Paul. If the brain wasn't abnormal. If the brain wasn't abnormal, and it'd be fine. And he'd be talking to us in that doctor's weird accent that he had. But anyway, probably strangling him like a sculptor would strangle people, because remember he's got sculptor's hands, but sheep's eyes. So when they go meh. Anyway, so they've tied him down anyway, so everything's going to be okay. But they're going to see to him in the morning. He's going to try and do some brain surgery in the morning. Next morning though, he's gone. The creature's I'm going to show it in a minute. There we go. We pan across. We see the creature's gone off the bed and smashed through the window and all that stuff. So he's gone. Paul, he's gone. He's buggered off. So I'll go to the village for help. And Paul says that. Vic says, no, I'll send word. So let's get a gun. We'll go searching. So off they go into Black Park in Buckinghamshire, which is adjacent to Bray Studios, because that's where Hammer, films were filmed. Bray Studios at Black Park. The exterior of the Frankenstein chateau was at Oakley Court in Windsor, which I think has been used in a lot of Hammer films and Hammer House of Horror, I think, without checking, but I think it has. Anyway, we're going to meet the blind man now, Here they come. Oh no, we're going to see the creature first. Oh no, we're not. Oh no, we're not. No, we're not. I thought that was a creature. It's that kid, isn't it? The blind man and his red-headed moppet grandkid, and they've been out collecting firewood and stuff because that's what's on his back. And then the kid's going to go and collect some mushrooms. So his blind granddad's having a sit down. Don't know who play these. Let's have a look. Where is it? Grandpa Fred Johnson, no relation as far as I know, plays Grandpa, and Claude Kingston plays Little Boy. So there's I'll go and collect my mushrooms. I won't be long. You sit there and smoke your pipe or whatever he's doing. So off he goes down by the lake. So is that a call back to the 31 version, the little girl in the lake? But this kid doesn't get thrown in the lake. But he's there to collect mushrooms. You can see him look around here. There's some lovely mushrooms in my front garden, but I dare eat them. They look really tasty, but I daren't. So I'll probably pick them and they'll die instantly. But they look nice. He's smoking his pipe, and then the creature's going to come. He's saying, "Oh," because he can hear the footsteps. Who goes there? So here he comes, and he says, "Where's my stick? I can't find my stick. You're scaring me. Who are you?" "I know you are. Who are you?" And then he comes walking over. He's acting as Christopher Lee's doing the motions as though he's, because all he's saying, because he's a cobbled together body, he can't move properly. That's why he's walking like that. As though everything's not quite in sync. That's what he's doing. So here he is anyway. And then he makes the mistake of hitting him, or trying to hit him with his stick. But here he goes. But the creature just grabs the stick and snaps it, and then chucks the old man about. And is going to kill him, but we don't see it. We just hear him scream, and then the kid, "Grandpa!" And we presume that the kid cops for it as well, but we don't see it because it's 1957. There, Google's checking. Anyway, meanwhile, Victor and Paul enter stage left with their shotguns. Oh, there's one with a rifle and one a shotgun. Whatever. Anyway, so he's round here somewhere, and then I don't know, is it going to give us a clue as to what happened to the kid? They set off. Have I missed it? There we go. As they set off, he's in this direction. I think they hear a noise or whatever. And then we see the kid's satchel with his mushrooms that had been collected. So that's supposed to think that the kid's being killed as well. They're never mentioned again, I don't think. Anyway, they come across him. And then we get the first bit of proper gore in a Hammer film, if you're discounting the severed hands and the eyeball and all that stuff. But the first proper bit of gore, because Paul takes a shot at it. There we go, and takes a shot, and then we get his first bit of what's called Kensington gore. And they homage this scene in the new one, in the 2025 one. Jacob E. Lordy gets shot, but I think in his other eye. I think in his other eye. In an homage to this scene. Well, I think it is. That's how I took it. And then he falls down dead. So he's killed the creature. I've done what had to be done. So anyway, we better bury him. And says, "Well, I can't wait for the villagers to come." I didn't send the message, obviously, because I'm the bad guy. So they just bury him. Night has fallen, and not a bit of muck on him, not sweating, just perfectly fine. I'd be caked. I'd be grimy and sweaty and everything, but they're English gentlemen. They never sweat, do they? But they're supposed to be in Switzerland, but never mind. Right, so they buried him. So anyway, meanwhile, so they head back to the chateau. My work is finished, and Paul's leaving. I've got to send my things in a few days. So it says, right, well, bye. But obviously Victor's got other plans. There you go. He's actually been back and dug up. The creature's got him hanged up there. Was he hanged, whatever, up there. Got him hanging and looking evilly. Right, anyway, but dinner time, got to go down for dinner. But Justine is fed up and she wants to know why he's not going to marry her. He's not going to marry you little strumpet. I'm going to show you something now. Come on, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my lab. So showing how he's evil. In a minute, here she comes. Oh no, she's doing it herself, isn't she? I thought he did it. No, he does in a minute though. He shuts her in, doesn't he? She's going nosy and into the lab. But for some reason they go upstairs, but then it's kind of downstairs. I don't get it. I don't. Look, she's going upstairs. I thought the lab would be down in the basement, but it's upstairs. But then when they get to the lab, there's all like nice walls and stuff upstairs. But then when they get to the lab, it's all like rock-hewn walls or whatever, old stone, and I don't know, but whatever. So she goes to the lab, and then he shuts her in. There you go, she can't get out. And then she comes across the creature. Do we see it? I don't think we do. Just hear it lumbering towards her, I think. I could be wrong, I can't remember. But she's having a nosy. She turns round, screams. Do we see it? Don't know. No, oh, yes, we do. There it is. I've got a black eye now. So he's obviously been infected with one of the ganglions from Dark Skies. Remember that series? Although that only happened with that one character, didn't it? Was it a black eye or did it have a white eye? I think it had a black eye, didn't it? They tried to take it out and it went wrong, didn't it? And he had a black eye for the rest. He was the main baddie. But I'm going off on a tangent. A great series of Dark Skies, lasted one season because it was too real in my opinion. But anyway, shut her in. So the creature's getting her. I don't know, is it just battering her to death or eating her? I don't know. We don't know what happened to her body. You'd think he'd use, harvest her and make her the bride or something, but no. We just cut to breakfast. They're having marmalade and all that stuff. I've never been able to like marmalade. I like the look of it, but I just don't like eating it. It's horrible. Right, so they're getting ready for the wedding. Remember, they're getting married. Invitations have gone out, and Elizabeth says she's invited Paul, but he's not replied yet. But he says, "Oh, it's all right." And she says, "Sorry, but he probably won't come anyway." But he says, "Well, all right." He says, "I hope he does come. I've got something to show him." Anyway, right. So here we are. I don't know who this fella is, but he's getting pissed and saying, "To the bride and groom." So I don't know who he is, but he's doing a speech. Does it say in the cast list who he is? I have no idea. Is it the uncle? It just says uncle. Is that him? Let's have a look. Raymond Ray. Let's have a look at a picture of him. I have no idea. Go pardon me, baby. I've got any photos of him? No bloody photos of him. Just one, and it doesn't look like him. Whatever. Don't know who he is, but he's the comedy relief, saying to the bride and groom and all that stuff, and getting pissed on the punch. But anyway, I think Paul's arriving any minute now. I think. She's wondering where Justine's got to. That's what she's doing. She said, "I wonder where Justine is. She just disappeared." And he says, "Oh, she probably ran off with a village Lothario or something." But anyway, here's Paul arriving in his tweed. So they're all happy. He says, "Oh, go and see him. He's in his lab." He said he had something he wants it to show you. So off he goes. I think he's getting the creature's dinner ready. Was he giving it cat food or something? I don't know. He says, "Oh, Paul, yes, come. I've got something to show you. I've been doing brain surgery." There it is. We can see the product of the brain surgery. The creature's there, and now subdued for the time being. Brought him back to life. They must have had another storm or whatever. I don't know, or maybe just recreated the lightning. But anyways, brought him back to life, and repaired his brain, and now he responds to commands. So this is where he does the come here and sit down, and it always makes me cringe when he sits down here. There we go, sit down, and he like just falls down, doesn't he, on the pallet. But yeah, bet that hurt his coccyx. But anyway, he says it's a disgrace. This is your with the brain of a genius. Says, well, you smashed it in bloody glass and stuff, you silly get. But anyway, but you know, I'm making do. Oh, and you shot him in the head. So you know, I'm making do. Somebody didn't say, I want your brain now, and you know, he kills him, and but he doesn't say that. But they're having another fight. So he says, you know, I'm gonna go to the authorities, and he throws Victor across the room, and off he goes. Anyway, right, she goes checking out the creature now. She hears the commotion, and she goes to see what's going on. And there she sees poor Christopher Lee there. And he's just going to break out of his chains. But she hasn't seen him yet. But she's getting there. But he's not there now. He's watching her from there. But from up there, he's got out of his chains now, and he's climbed up onto the roof. And he's watching her. And she's saying, what's going on in here? Who's there? There we go. Who's there? So she's going to go investigate. Victor, up on the roof. What's going on? Oh, it's Elizabeth up there. In a minute, there she comes. Oh, hello. Who's up here on this roof? In a ball gown. There's also another Frankenstein movie going on in 2026 called The Bride. Yes, there is, and there's somebody famous in it, and I can't remember who. I'll look it up. The Bride. Who's in it? I've seen it somewhere. It's not just called The Bride. It's called The Bride with an exclamation mark. Maggie Gyllenhaal. So she's directing it. I don't know if she's in it. Right, here we go. Jessie Buckley as the bride. I wasn't thinking of her. Penelope Cruz is in it. I've seen Penelope Cruz for a while. Got Annette Bening. I was thinking of somebody else as the bride. Not Jessie Buckley. Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster. So that should be fun. But Maggie Gyllenhaal writing and directing. Big girl bossy then, won't it? She'll be bossing the blooming Frankenstein's monster about. She'll be, you know, the Karen. Yes, Batman. Christian Bale's in it. Hey. Well, good for you, we'll be saying. Anyway, that's a nice shot in there. I've paused that on the cleavage. It should be good. Well, we'll see. We will see. Hopefully. Anyway, so they're going, trying to save it. He's got his, don't know what the hell it is, some sort of musket or something, I don't know. But the creature grabs hold of her, so he shoots, boom, there we go, and he shot her in the shoulder, or whatever. And so then he shoots him again. And he comes lumbering forward. And he's like, get away from me! So he throws the oil lamp at him. There we go. Sets him on fire. And then he don't like fire, so he's like going, ah! Just says, don't hate. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, you know, we'll see, won't we? We'll see. So he's on fire, and then he falls through the window. Here we go. Look at the window just above remember Chekhov's acid bath. There it is. So it's going to get nicely dissolved in there. Nicely dissolved in there. And then we go. Destroyed in a moment. I think it took about half an hour, I think he said. Gavin says there's a very good 70s version of Frankenstein here on YouTube called Frankenstein the True Story, starring David McCallum. Yes. We've actually done it on Friday Night About with Fear. It's really good. James Mason as Dr. Polidori, David McCallum, Michael Sarrazin as the creature. I can't remember who plays Frankenstein now. The Baron. Jane Seymour as the bride. yes, it's really good. It's really good. I can't remember who plays the Frankenstein. David McCallum plays somebody else. I'm sure he does. I'll have to look that up now. Leonard Whiting as Victor Frankenstein. There we go. Who did David McCallum play? James Mason played Polly Dolly. Henry Clerval, David McCallum played. But yeah, it's really, really good and quite gruesome for a TV thing. But yes, it is on YouTube. I've seen it on YouTube. Justine's going to check it out. Like I said, we did it on Friday Night Apart with Fear a while ago. Anywho, so it says, my life's work destroyed within half an hour. Oh, God said, within half an hour, there's nothing left of him. Says, now I've told you my story, you can get me out of here. I thought, well, no, you've just what's the word? I can never bloody remember the word. Just confess. This is a confession. You're not helping yourself. But apparently he's in there for murdering Justine. Apparently, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, Paul arrives. We see Paul arrive in a minute. Is it just telling him? Oh, there you go, visitor. Hey, Kremper. So Paul arrives. We see him. There he is. And we see that she's alive. Is Elizabeth. I get the suggestion that she's now with Paul, if you know what I mean. Oh, maybe not. But she's got her arm in a sling, but she's fine. So he goes in and says, Paul, you can tell him everything's true about, the monster and all that and the creature. And he's like, I don't know. What creature? I don't know what you're talking about. You're obviously quite mad and you just murdered the maid. And he says, no, it wasn't me that murdered her, it was the creature. What creature? I don't know what you're talking about. He's obviously, and then he goes after him, so, I'll make you tell him. So, he says, oh, he's obviously insane, there's no help for the man. So we're going to go and I'll marry you or whatever. And then they lead him out to the guillotine, not hanging him. They hanged the other fella, didn't they, earlier on? This time they're going to get the old guillotine out. That's what he's looking at. But we don't actually see it do it. We just see it gets led out, and we see the blade rise, but we don't see it come down. There we go. So we get the credits now. It's done and dusted. But Victor Frankenstein will return, and I can't remember what comes after this. Is it Revenge of Frankenstein? I can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up now. The Curse of Frankenstein. I closed the Wikipedia window because I'm stupid. Does it say what's after this? Sequels. There we go. Yes, Revenge of Frankenstein the year after, and obviously he comes back, and obviously they haven't chopped his head off. So yeah, great film. I really like. I love all the Hammer stuff, but for the most part. But yes, that's the end. But like I said, we don't see it just ends. We don't see. It just fades out. We don't see the thing come down. So it should say Victor Frankenstein will return. So that's it. That's the end of the Curse of Frankenstein. Great film. Right. Great performances from all the cast, particularly Peter Cushing, who's always great. Whatever he does, he's always really good. And Christopher Lee, even though he didn't have any lines, it was just a lumbering creature. Still gave it his all, didn't he? He'd get some lines in the next film, wouldn't he? For him, he were in Dracula, wasn't he? Will return in Avengers Doomsday, will he? And I don't get the cross reference. But anyway. Victor Von Doom. Yes, Victor Frankenstein. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. But yeah, great performances, great makeup, bit of gore, 1957 after all, but cool, and well worth a look. Like I said, it's out on 4K now, but I've not seen Not seen the 4K. How much is it? Let's have a look. See if we can see how much it is. It'll be on Amazon, won't it? Let's have a look. The Curse of Frankenstein. Shopping. We've got a 4K. I'll type it in. There we go, 4K. Shopping. 30 quid. Unless you want the super duper set, where you get loads of stuff, 60 quid. But yeah, 30 quid. I'm not paying 30 quid for a bloody old film. Because 4K, I still maintain, I can't tell a lot of difference between Blu-rays and 4Ks. I mean, I know I've got stupid old eyes, but anyway. Right, so we're all done and dusted. What's coming up next? That was quite a quick one, wasn't it? But it is a short film, I must admit. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes. But it is well worth a look. I think it is on Amazon. Right. Yes, it's because I said a boy. It did. No, hello. What have I moved these for? What's coming up next? On Monday, for Magnificent Mondays this week, we're doing iRobot, starring Will Smith. Take that robot's name out of your mouth. Or my mouth, whatever. It's that one. We're doing that on Monday. Should be fun. And I don't know what next week's Friday Night Appointment with Fear is going to be. I thought it was going to be Friday the 13th next week, but it is it's the 14th, isn't it? So we're not doing the Friday the 13th film. I will think of something in the coming week. And I think next Wednesday I probably will have finished Star Trek Voyager Season 2. So we'll look at Star Trek Voyager Season 2 next Wednesday. Maybe. Right, so we're done and dusted. We'll leave it there. So thanks, Wyn Grace and Justin and Gavin Blackburn. Did anybody else pop in? And that I didn't notice. Let's have a look. Not that I noticed. I better check on Rumble. Make sure there's no Rumble chats. Nope, of course there isn't. Never mind. Never mind. My notes. Let's see if there's any last minute notes that I forgot to check out. Yes, Bernard Bresslaw. Apparently, we may know from the Carry On films. He also played the Cyclops in Krull. He were going to be, or maybe we're going to be. He were in the running to play the creature, and it all went down to £2 difference between their daily rate. Christopher Lee, Bernard Breslaw's agent says he won't do it for less than £10 a day. Christopher Lee's agent said he does it £8 a day. So for £2, Christopher Lee became an international star. So that's interesting, isn't it? For many years, this held the distinction of being the most profitable movie to be produced in England by a British studio. I don't know how long that went on for, but anyway, I told you about the painting. For some exterior scenes, such as that of the little boy at the river, leaves in the foreground of some shots were painted red and yellow. This gave continuity with the shots of the autumnal foliage seen in the establishing shot of the forest after the creature first escapes from Frankenstein's laboratory. There we go. I told you there about Robert Urquhart storming out of the theatre, the premiere. He hated it so much he never made another horror film or worked for Hammer again. Miserable bugger. The idea originated with Milton Subotsky and his partner, whose name escapes me. Anyway, they went to Hammer with the idea of doing this Frankenstein film with a script, and they rejected it, and then did their own thing instead. And Subotsky and his partner went on to found Amicus, who became Hammer's main rival in the 60s and 70s. Anyway, so that's that. Peter Cushing played the Doctor of Baron Frankenstein in 7 films. I think Peter Cushing's first film, back in 1939, was The Man in the Iron Mask, which was directed by James Whale, who directed the first Frankenstein film and Bride of Frankenstein. So there you go. Here we go. In the original theatrical release, a brief shot depicting the prop head being dissolved by the acid was shown. This was cut and replaced with a quick shot of Frankenstein's face as the bubbling sound plays. The British Board of Film Classification supposedly felt that this scene was too morbid and had the scene cut from the movie in all subsequent airings in theatres and on television. This missing shot is believed to have been cut from the original movie and may no longer exist. But they have multiple prints. It is believed that this scene is what earned the movie an X certificate. Not really. I mean, you look at in the 50s and early 60s, it's surprising what films got X certificates in the UK. I mean, some of them. I mean, there's some of them you wouldn't think. And I can't think. I remember seeing a poster thinking, how did that get an X certificate? It'd be like a kids' film these days. I can't remember what it was. Never mind. For the scene in the woods when the creature is shot, remember when he's shot in the eye and all the gore comes out, Christopher Lee said years later that he yelled out in pain for real. He put this down to the fake blood entering his eye during the take, so it must have stung. Here we go. Remember, we're on about the professor face planting, when the Baron pushed him off the balcony. According to cameraman Len Harris, stuntman Jock Easton came close to being injured several times during filming. For the scene where Peter Cushing pushes him off a balcony, the floor was padded, but his head missed the padding where it was supposed to land. Typical. He also doubled for Sir Christopher Lee in the climax. He wanted Sir at the time. In the climax where the creature is set on fire, and Harris recalled that there were quite a few men on set with fire extinguishers. I should imagine so. Here we go. In 3 consecutive movies, Christopher Lee strangles Peter Cushing nearly dead. Lee said in an interview that Cushing would suck berry drops before these scenes to make his tongue more red. So there you go. So that's me notes. Right. That's padded out the show a little bit, hasn't it? Right, we'll leave it there. So again, thanks to Win, Grace and Justin and Gavin for keeping me company while we go through The Curse of Frankenstein. And I'm sure at some point I'll review Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein, which is an amazing film. As I said, my favourite film of the year so far. My 3 favourite films, my top 3 favourite films are all horror films. We've got Frankenstein, and I forgot the others. Final Destination Bloodline and Heart Eyes. They're my 3 favourite films, and they're all horror films. I'm going to struggle to do a top 10 this year. I tell you, I am. It might just be a top 5. Right, so we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other. And until next time, I'll say there.